All right. Welcome back to another episode of Boys Discussing Some Movies. That's BDSM.
Looking that
Hey, y'all.
With your favorite boys. Oh, yeah, this is the big group count.
Oh, should we do a roll call?
Yeah,
Like
let's
that
do a roll
comment
call.
Suggested?
Roll call.
See, we
Roll
listen.
Yeah.
call.
Yeah.
We're reading your comments.
That's right. All
Actually,
three of
which
They're
us.
way
so
should-
good.
Which way should we? I mean, we're all talking to each other, but
Let's
like,
just start on Indy's end.
yeah.
I'm Indy.
Yeah. Oh, so you are
Edgar.
looking- Michael.
Alex.
Val.
And we are a fight
Boys
club.
Discussing
No,
Some
we
Movies.
should go.
BDSM.
No, I just realized we should say each word individually, and we are.
His name was Michael Arden.
Oh shit.
Correct.
His
Alright.
name was Michael
and
Arden.
we are boys discussing some movies.
Thank you, Michael.
Wow.
All right,
Yeah,
Alex.
he's-
We're really on a great
All right.
track for this episode.
So, yeah.
That was-
We're firing on all cylinders here. If you
Yeah.
haven't figured it out yet, we watched Fight Club.
You're going deeper into your cave, and you're going to find your power animal.
With your feet on the air, your head on the ground.
I'm sure
Oh, yeah.
you will.
Hopefully
Put it
it's
on
in
the screen there.
Thumbnail.
Yes.
As
a
oh, yeah,
group.
you will have figured it out by clicking.
As a group, we're watching on our own time.
Yeah, so we all just watched Fight Club.
We're riding on that high right now.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
Fight Club high.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, the
really
shit out
close
of
to
someone.
punching the shit out of Michael.
Yeah.
We actually traveled back to 1999 to watch when the movie came out.
Right.
Yes.
1999 was a long time ago.
Yes, it was.
It was a quarter of a century ago.
That's weird.
That's fucking weird.
And you couldn't make this movie in any other year, really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They wouldn't make this after 9/11.
can't do it anymore. Yeah, I suppose not.
We got that sweet spot.
I'm just saying there's a lot of specific, I don't want to dive too deep into it yet, but the idea of being bored with how chill and stable your life is not as much
It's
of a
not
thing
cool anymore.
Yeah, seriously, we've all resigned ourselves to our fates.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that aside,
Stop tapping the
it
table.
was-
I just want to show the big scar on my hand. Oh, that comes later in the movie.
yeah, let's take it one step at a time. Let's take it one step. I'm gonna try to take the reins here a little bit. So it was my pick today. As y'all might recall, the theme for this season is scared, and
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I was thinking that, like, we've talked about watching Fight Club before, and it just, like, in my searches and my thinking, I was just like, wow, I think it would be a good movie, without jumping too far ahead. But it features Ed Norton's character, who it seems to me is scared to completely express himself in the capitalistic and censoring society that he lives in, that we live in, and I thought it was a really fantastic illustration of that, because he meets Tyler Durden, and Tyler is the exact opposite of that domesticated IKEA loving man, and mayhem ensues, literally.
Right,
Yeah.
literally.
I mean,
Yeah.
do you want to start with a quick synopsis?
Sure.
just so
Should we
can,
talk synopsis?
like,
Okay.
Get into the
Well,
meat of it.
yeah, that's
Yes.
a good idea. I imagine everyone clicking on this has seen it, but let's try and take it one step at a time. Good idea, Edgar. The movie, as Edgar pointed out, I don't think any of us has seen this in a minute.
It's been a long time for me.
Yeah.
But I
it's been
think
a bit
this is
for
the
me.
first episode where we've all seen the movie before.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right on.
Yeah, might be.
But I don't. I
Might
forgot
I
a
think it
bunch
is.
of shit from it. So
Yeah.
it was cool to watch it as an adult.
Yeah.
Because I think I saw it as a kid.
But
Wow.
but real quick, if I could say, like, being the eldest in the group, I remember watching this movie in high school, and it was a huge. I mean, this movie was a huge deal, but especially the tab, but for like young men, right, either coming into their own or kind of like on the precipice. Like, this movie
Men.
was so influential and such a big deal, and I remember seeing the theater and being jacked up about it. And so this movie was a huge deal. Like, so it made quite an impression on me, as it did many. But like young men. This let's be real. This was like a young guy movie kind of thing.
Totally.
And it had that young man energy. You know. So yeah. Anyway,
That's right.
yeah. It doesn't mean women didn't enjoy it, but just saying. Yeah.
I imagine they probably did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty of people
At least they
enjoyed the movie.
enjoyed Brad Pitt. I'm sure they enjoyed Brad Pitt.
Right. Yeah.
So we meet Edward Norton.
Yeah, so we drop in on this scene, which is the end of the movie, where Tyler Durden has... what's Ed Norton's character's
I
name?
don't know.
He's a
has
nameless
no name.
protagonist.
Oh,
nameless?
Yeah.
He's credited as
That's
narrator, but
Yeah.
yeah, he doesn't have
Yeah.
a name.
So-
That's so
I
far
never
out.
noticed that.
Well, here, so we drop in on the end scene where Tyler Durden has a gun in Ed Norton's mouth, and it's the... You're probably wondering how I got here.
Closer to economic equilibrium.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Well, and it has like the opening shot's so inventive. I mean, that's David Fincher for you. Just what an incredible director. But like it shows like the inside of his brain or his body, nervous system,
Oh,
leading
yeah,
up
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
coming through the gun
It's
in
a
his
prelude
mouth.
to the X-Men film.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
I had no
movie
sense of...
Yeah.
I guess the audience seeing it for the first
Yeah.
time would have
like
no sense
Fincher
of
is
where that
just
was going.
flexing in this movie. Like there's just so much inventiveness in this movie.
Oh my God,
Continue,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean that's the opening scene, and then you're shunted into Ed Norton, the narrator's life, and he is this kind of consultant insurance. He's basically a stats guy for car company, and he lives this like white collar, straight jacket life. Just like buying IKEA furniture and.
Basically,
He's an insomniac. Very importantly, he's a total insomniac. Go ahead, Val. I mean, I think that launches us.
Yeah.
Our protagonist is a wayward soul, a nobody who is having an identity crisis, and so in the midst of a tragic incident, he begins a spiraling descent into what can only be called a chaotic mess. That is the basic outline of this movie, without any spoilers. Heading past this part, I think we're going to be talking about spoilers and beyond.
Yeah, also Brad Pitt's shirtless a lot. And
A lot.
if you ask me, probably the best he's ever looked without a shirt on.
We were talking about Once
Yeah.
Upon a Time in
I
Hollywood
mean,
earlier.
he's always. looked
I mean, he
great.
looks great in that,
Yeah.
but in this one, holy shit.
Yeah.
Dude, like that first shot of him in the Fight Club all
Yeah.
sweaty and stuff, it's like,
Yeah.
Well,
Ed Norton's
actually-
freaking cut too.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, Ed Norton's off the heels of American History X, where he got absolutely jacked. Which is, I guess, there's other things in that movie, but that's what I remember most, Ed Norton's body. But yeah, though it's like you mentioned the Brad Pitt thing, and that's another lasting influence of this movie. Is even now today for insecure souls, not like me, but there are still men who they use that like Brad Pitt's body in Fight Club is still what a lot of guys will say. That's the body I want, and there's
Yeah.
like you'll still find like the Brad Pitt Fight Club workout. How to
Whoa.
achieve that body. So like Brad Pitt is just so iconic as Tyler Durden. That really is, I think. I mean, you could argue like what's his most iconic
Right.
role, but Tyler Durden is way up there.
Definitely. He's got such an iconic look.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
his fashion, man.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
He's got a couple
Yep.
pretty cool outfits.
very, very 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Very
90s.
99, but
Great.
But there's that, and then there's that hustler mesh
a
top.
hint of early thousands,
I-
but
Yeah.
still 90s.
Yeah.
Hadn't happened yet.
the costume design of Fight Club, where you're saying like Tyler Durden's outfit, yeah, incredible. Every single outfit is incredible.
Yeah.
The stupid pink bathrobe is incredible. The maple leaf T-shirt, the red pleather jacket. I didn't even realize that
The
like
mesh
that's
shirt that says
I'm kind of
Hustlers.
representing with a I'm kind of representing with a pleather jacket, like my little. And not even realizing not to Tyler Durden, but yeah, like just the look of this movie is so cool. This is a cool movie to look at.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
nice looking. Also, I completely forgot how funny it was, like how much just straight up
Really
comedy.
funny, yeah.
The lead
Yeah.
salad line.
First person comes out this fucking door gets a lead salad, you understand?
So, we'll call him Edward Norton.
Yeah.
Edward Norton, for the most part, he's narrating this whole movie. He meets Tyler Durden. As you guys mentioned, he's like in awe of him. He's like, they become very close friends. They become they form that fight club. And when would you say things start to get real, or like it really like changes from Fight Club to?
I mean, I'd say when they start recruiting people to live in their house as an army.
Oh.
Because at first it's just getting people to join Fight Club because, you know,
Yeah.
Fight Club. But yeah, it gets real once they're really starting to organize and like recruit soldiers or whatever.
Although would you say the
Yeah.
scene when Lou, the owner of Lou's Tavern, where they host their Fight Club in the basement of this tavern, when Lou and his cronies, this thug, show up and then proceeds to beat the living shit out of Tyler Durden welcomes it. He's like he's totally okay with having this guy beat the shit out of him, and then he flips the table, flips the script, and then just like shakes all his blood, all of his gore in the guy's face. I would say that's like where the movie starts to really tilt, like the energy of like, holy moly.
I wrote a note on that. I'm not gonna say I thought it was like a lame scene, but I just thought it was kind of weird. Like, I don't know, if you're the owner, wouldn't you just shoot him?
I know. No, I don't know. Sometimes you gotta. Sometimes
I guess he got like,
express yourself a bit.
yeah. He
Punch the shit out of someone.
he punched him, and then they have to keep the Fight Club going. But I was like, I guess it took me out of it a little bit, even though a Fight Club already was
they were
formed
full
and
on
then
Fight
fighting.
Club at that point.
But yeah, just like a little thing.
Yeah, we haven't done this in a while, so
Yeah.
we're.
I wanted to say, I think the movie really actually starts.
We did it last week. Remember?
I think the movie really does start when he sees his inside animal for the first time, the penguin.
What do you mean?
Yeah. What does
Yeah,
that
the
mean?
cave.
So
What do you think that means?
when he's doing this introspective, there's all these moments before the movie where there's the doctor who says, "Oh, you haven't seen real pain yet," which is calling into question his masculinity. You haven't suffered enough yet. You're just a namby. You don't get it. Go check those guys out. There's a flash of Tyler. And then when he is at these therapy sessions, he finally gets to express himself. But when he sees his spirit animal for the first time, it's not what he's expecting. It's a penguin. It says slide. It's something that just goes with it. It's belly exposed. It's a very vulnerable animal. It's not a fierce predator or magnificent beast. And I think that's what invites some major insecurity into his life about his identity. And that's when Marla coincidentally enters in the next scene at a different therapy session.
I actually disagree, but I mean, he characterized Tyler as sliding. He just let things slide.
Yeah.
Like I disagree as to the point of that.
No, I could see
it's
that.
like represents his insecurities. I think it represents Tyler,
Well, I mean,
like the good aspects of
the
Tyler.
penguin represents him, but he's not happy with himself. That's part of a big feature of this movie. Is he has to. Yeah.
Did you frame like the therapy sessions like? There's a lot going on there.
But on the therapy sessions,
I mean, there were support.
he's going to his support groups,
Yeah.
and he has no ailments, and he's like, he says he's getting high off of them.
Yeah.
Like then he's able to start sleeping again.
That's part of that's part of how this whole thing starts, right? And I mean, we can speculate. I would speculate it's a fear of death thing at its root, like this like existential thing that he has, like identifying with his IKEA furniture and whatnot.
That was a funny scene.
He's
the
like
layout of
classic
the
scene.
living room.
Oh my god, yeah.
Sweet, it's a sweet.
It was so
montage.
fun. It was,
Yeah.
again, that was like a comic element where he's talking in this like it's beautifully well written, incidentally. Like
Well, yeah.
the way the movie is written is so
We know who wrote the
clever.
script.
This
Yeah,
is
maybe we can
terrible.
check that out.
For
We
being-
should.
for being that, I should know that.
But,
I want
yeah.
to I want to say that it was co-written by Fincher, but maybe not.
Okay.
Well, but I mean, just saying, like Fincher is. I mean, obviously he's the director, so of course his fingerprints are all over it. But this is like such a Fincher movie. Well, I'm just saying, like, we all know that he's a very important director, and I would say that as important as Seven was and is, Fight Club really was where Fincher really put like his stamp on the filmmaking scene, where it's like, I am one of the important filmmakers in the world. Hello, I'm Fincher. I made Fight Club. I'm the shit.
So, random, before you mentioned this, I saw an article, I don't know what the hell I saw it on, but it was like Fincher asking about his movies, and they asked him about Fight Club. He said he's like embarrassed to watch it. He says he hasn't seen it in years.
Really?
That's funny.
He says it's like looking at a high school yearbook. He's like, I'm not interested in it.
Interesting.
Well,
he made Alien 3. That's a much worse movie.
Hey man, these are his words.
I'll say though, like,
exact words.
Exactly.
Well,
Like,
so he's living this life, this like very bland white collar life. He's got like no friends, it seems.
He has nobody in his life.
There's no one in his life, and he can't sleep. He's like struggling terribly to sleep, and he finds that he gets relief by going to these support groups for these different ailments which he doesn't have. There's like testicular cancer. There are like blood diseases, blood parasites,
Tuberculosis.
yeah, tuberculosis, cancer, of course, like terminal cancer. So he's hanging out with all these people who are facing death, who are like right in the face of death, and they're vulnerable and they're weeping and they're just like laying it all out to these groups, and just coming in as a total imposter and saying nothing. He finds that he's able to, like, when they cry, he can cry, and when he can cry, he finds that he can sleep. So like by getting this release, he starts to sleep, and I feel it seems to me, I don't know if you guys, maybe you guys agree, but like I think that he can't. There's this huge, I mean, using the word schizophrenic, like, that means split mind. I mean, clearly he's got a split mind, but there are things in himself that he cannot see, that he just like refuses to look at. And I think that, I mean, the philosophers, psychologists through history have talked about the fear of death and the way that influences us. And it seems to me that between the narcolepsy and everything, or the insomnia and this fear of death, Tyler comes into his life and represents this complete embrace of, he like calls the human body, like, we're all shit, we're not special, we're just organic matter, like dirt, like the dirt that's outside, and he's completely at peace with facing the possibility, the constant possibility of death. Yeah.
I think, I don't know, we didn't mention, but his job as some kind of insurance investigator or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
It's very morbid. He basically, I don't remember exactly how he describes it, but it's basically, he works for a car company. He doesn't name it in the movie, but it's a big one.
He
one
says
of the
it's a
big
major
ones.
one.
Yeah. Basically he investigates fatal accidents to see if it's cheaper for the company to fix the problem
or pay him off,
or
right?
to basically just let people keep dying and face the lawsuits.
Oh man.
And
I mean, so much
Which
of
is how it is, actually.
Totally. It's a number thing.
So much of this movie is just basically about the emptiness of modern living, and how, I mean, it's a running commentary on consumerism and how it leaves you feeling empty, and in his case emasculated. And so it's just, this is like it's making an extreme point. You could say it's satire, but it's making an extreme point of that this lifestyle of consumerism leaves you feeling so empty and so hopeless, and life is so pointless, that the ways that he finally finds meaning or feels anything.
Getting punched in the face.
Yeah, getting punched in the face. Well, first being surrounded by people who are facing imminent death to feel anything, and then getting punched in the face. And so, I mean, yes, there's some, I suppose, deeper philosophical implications in this movie, but first and foremost, it's just like trying to feel anything in a rather hopeless, empty lifestyle.
mm-hmm.
To speak to your earlier point, Michael, feeling, and this is still a very relevant topic. Men in the present day. I mean, let's talk, boys.
Yeah.
I know that this is a very common topic. Men need to be men have this sort of natural need to be aggressive, to accomplish, to get out there and like hunt meat and
wrestle shirtless.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Grab each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we should like rebrand the channel.
Yeah.
But that's
stuff, dude.
that's real. We definitely. I mean, it's natural. It's not necessarily every man, of course. Like not every man, but on the whole, men feel that, and they have this aggressive tendency that they need to express, and expressing that in the modern world is very, very difficult. It's really hard to find, and that's why I think it speaks so strongly. I mean, I'm sure we should look it up, but I'm sure like getting punched in the face probably like drives up your testosterone.
Well, like they're
I bet it does.
I usually just go with video games. Does great wonders for me.
There's a line about war movies, and I can't remember who said it, but it's something like it's basically impossible to make an anti-war movie because
Dr.
war.
Seuss.
No, because war is sort of inherently. No matter how tragic it is, like at least in movies, it's sort of inherently exciting, right? It's inherently dramatic. So like the idea is like there have been countless examples in movies where they've talked about in like war movies where it's how it's like you feel alive, right? Like no matter how terrible it is, you feel alive. And this is not like pro-war sentiment, but it's just to say that for people like to actually feel like I could die in this moment, or I'm gonna get hurt. My everything is dialed up to 11.
Like when we met that serial killer.
Yes, exactly. Like for so many people, if you're fortunate enough to be in the modern and developed world, you're not necessarily. I say fortunate enough to be because I'm just saying our viewers, right, the fortunate ones. But at the same time, it's going back to that famous Thoreau line about how like people leading lives of quiet desperation, and so it's like like the trade-off is like you're safer, but you don't really feel anything.
Yeah.
Can I ask, have any of you guys ever been on like something close to a fight like any of that?
Not like that.
No.
Not shirtless.
Absolutely not.
I wish.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
all right.
How did it feel?
Oh,
Bet it
it's
felt
fun.
amazing,
It's
yeah.
it is. It's
So,
really
like,
fun.
That's what I want to
lot of
say
shots
before
of-
we get, but just to
Wait,
Michael's
you gotta
point,
fight
like
for fun?
a good
Yeah,
solution.
I fight
I
with my
think the
brothers all the
idea
time,
of
viciously.
just a consensual fight, where you beat the shit out of each other and then you help the other guy up at the end,
Oh, you get
Maybe
hit in
that's
the
the
So
stern.
on that, I'm like,
Yeah.
is that a thing? Like, because in the movie, obviously, but they're like smiling.
Yeah.
They look like
they're-
they're having
yeah.
a good time.
They talk about being enlightened.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, geez,
Men-
do I need that? Like, I can't. I would. Is the automatic response to be pissed and not want that,
Well,
or
that's part of the
nowadays
lesson.
or is that
Podcasts.
me putting a?
I wish I was tougher. Like
Yeah.
I'm afraid to get in a fight. I wish I was not afraid of shit like that. I wish I was more just like, let's brawl.
Well,
Because
what
it
you
does
need to
seem
do is
cool.
go out and start a fight with a stranger.
Yeah, it does. Because it does seem cool.
loose.
Yeah.
Like it seems
And
to
the
be
idea
undeniably
of
cool.
like what I
Losing.
forget how he
Yeah.
says it, but like you start off as a lump of cookie dough, and a couple weeks later you're carved out of wood.
Yeah.
It's a
Sounds
great
pretty
line.
liberating.
Great line.
But I do think, like Alex said, I think it's true that there is something. I feel it inside me, like there's something, whatever, like fundamental to being a man, where it's
Yeah.
I want
chopping some wood.
I want to. I want to physically influence something.
Yeah.
Like
If I
we're
can
physical
interject.
beings.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's part of the message of the movie. It's a multifaceted movie. Is embracing the destructive nature of your internal masculine urges and coming to accept the consequences of loss and death. and abandonment as well is a destructive masculine force. And Tyler Durden actually kind of both represents an idealized version of a man, but he also represents the protagonist's father. He eventually leaves him later in the movie and abandons him. And they make allusions to God in many of their conversations. We are the unwanted children. Edward Norton's character was clearly abandoned by his father.
Well, he says it when they're both. I guess he's taking a shit and he's in the bathtub.
Yep.
He's all like, "Oh yeah, my dad left me when this happened. Oh, me too." Or he keeps saying something like, and then I called him again. He's like, very similar. Like,
yeah.
And the foreshadowing in the movie is like so clear. Like when he's in the the support group for men with testicular cancer, and you see there's the head guy, whatever, in the group. He's like, I see a lot of strength in this room. You know, the way he's addressing him, and now we're going to, like, it's
cutting balls off.
It's but it's that's true. There's an obsession with cutting balls off, having no balls. But that scene with the testicular cancer support group, it's foreshadowing to like then the first scene when the Fight Club is gathering, you know, and it's like, you know, addressing the men. So there's this theme and obsession with like men supporting men, men getting back their masculinity. You know, like this movie is obsessed with emasculation and then finding your masculinity.
Sure. Yeah.
Can we have a men or
Can we all
counter on the bottom? How many times we say men?
But it's still as relevant. Like you're saying, it's completely relevant.
It's not just about masculinity though. This movie is about balance. Martha is actually the counterbalance to Tyler in terms of the protagonist. For instance, I think that this takes a lot of inspiration from a lot of really old like schools of study that were also influenced by an even older school of study called alchemy. And in alchemy there is a triad of representative characters. So there's something called the Red King, the White Queen, and the Grey Wolf. The Grey Wolf is Edward Norton's character. He starts off the movie wearing gray, and his life, it's gray as hell at the beginning. And so in alchemy, turning metal into gold is kind of a huge metaphor for refining something into its purest, best version of itself. So Edward Norton's character is going from a metallic kind of gray wolf archetype into a fully fleshed out version of himself, a conjoinment of two opposites, masculine force and feminine force. Tyler is trying to teach him throughout the movie to take control himself. He keeps letting Tyler lead the way, and there's this one point in the movie where he's mentioning just because you stick feathers in your ass doesn't make you a pigeon or something, a chicken.
Sticking feathers in your butt doesn't make you a chicken.
Because he's mimicking Tyler, but he's not taking control himself. And so part of the lesson is that he needs to embrace his masculine side, but he also needs to reel it in and gauge his emotions, his feelings, his feminine side, the part that is represented by Martha.
Actually, yeah, I did want to touch on that point because the first time that they talk, Ed Norton and Helena Bonham Carter.
Marla.
Sorry.
Marla.
I'm thinking of Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
Mark, her name is Martha.
Okay, go.
So dumb. I won't kill Superman because their moms have the same name. Continue.
Let's talk about Batman
Yeah.
v Superman.
All right.
Another time.
Another manly movie.
Another
So-
movie about...
So Ed Norton, the narrator, meets Marla because she's also making the rounds as an imposter in these support groups, and he is taken out of it. Like he can't being around another faker, as he says. He can't cry. He can't
handle it.
release.
Yeah.
Because it like reminds him that he's a fake.
I think it's actually different than that. Can I?
Yes.
Well, here let me finish my thought.
Go ahead.
Because I'm not actually talking about that specifically.
Okay.
But he confronts her. When he finally confronts her, And she makes fun of him for like catching him rehearsing the talk, right? He's like rehearsing how he's going to talk.
That's really
talk to
funny.
her. Like, I mean, yeah, he's such a pitiful person. He can hardly even like muster the courage to talk to her. So he finally does. And I just wanted to touch on the point that like they connected for a brief moment, where he's trying to search for words about like what the support groups give him, and she finishes his sentence and says, "Because people actually listen to you," which I think is important. I think is really important. For one thing, that it connects them, but it also speaks to this buttoned up fake society that we often engage in. Yeah, but yeah, please, Val.
I'm gonna blow your minds a little bit, but I'm going to
Hell yeah.
suggest that Martha is also not
Martha?
real.
Why did you say that name?
Martha?
Real. Sorry, Marla. Marla is also not real.
What?
So when she
He had
finishes
sex with
his
himself?
thoughts, when she finishes his thoughts, his sentences and stuff, it's almost like they're thinking the same thing. She mentions that she saw him rehearsing, but we, the audience, never see that. The implication that she's at the testicular cancer and no one says anything, I think gives it away. So I think Marla is a representation of his feminine side, and that he's ashamed of it. So he starts thinking about how he's crying and being a little bitch at these groups. And so Marla comes in and reflects that back at him. And he's just like her, in a sense. That's his feminine side. And he's deeply ashamed of it. And this takes root in various other comments in the movie. Like, there's this guy at airport security who mentions, like, a dildo. And he's like, your dildo?
Of course, it's company policy never to imply ownership in the event of a dildo. We have to use the indefinite article, a dildo, never your dildo.
I don't own.
An implication that the character maybe has something vibrating in their bag, their
And
luggage.
then we see she has a giant dildo later.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Oh, don't worry. It's not a threat to you.
I love this.
And Marla,
but you know, Marla's the only...
throughout the movie, she doesn't comment on their house. Her own place appears to be this disheveled mess of a nothing place.
No woman could live like that.
And remember, he takes on so many identities for his job. That's also a reflection of how many identities he has fractured himself into.
That's a wild take.
I love
Yeah.
this.
Damn.
take.
Well, you know,
I've never heard that.
That's
I've never
that is a
heard this
wild
either.
I
take.
never heard that either.
Marla,
I told you I'd blow your mind.
well, that's interesting because Marla's the only female character in the movie.
Yep.
In fact, you'd be hard pressed to even remember one other woman in the whole movie.
I remember
And-
one.
Okay. So if that's the case, and that's a really cool theory, then like this movie really is completely about men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
No,
so
there-
finally,
a movie for men.
finally,
What
a
about
movie-
Chloe?
One for
Chloe.
us.
I got one.
One for us.
Oh, there you go. I was even thinking about Chloe.
No, there are a lot of
Yeah.
women in the support
Yeah.
groups.
Oh, that's true. Chloe.
Yeah.
That's true. Chloe gets a shout.
There are
out.
other women. There are
Chloe's
other women.
described
gets
as
a shout
way
out.
grosser in the book. Yeah. She looked fine to me.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be down.
Yeah, I was ready.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Man. Well, let me ask you this though. Once we get out of the any scenes in the support groups, then are there any? I can't think of any female characters.
I just
that
remember
are-
someone he's sitting next to on the plane at one point, but that's all.
Well, that he's
Oh, yeah.
explaining the
Yeah.
his
Yeah,
work.
yeah. So I'm only saying that is a cool theory.
But maybe
if
she was
that's the
fake
case-
too.
What if everything is
Yeah.
just a projection from the narrator? There's
I mean,
no
single serving
actual.
friends.
Yeah.
That's taking
It's
it
all
a step
home
further.
fantasy.
That's actually possible.
I mean, the whole thing could
So,
be projections.
The destruction of society at the end could actually be him destroying what society was to him at the beginning of the movie. So it might not be he actually blew up all of these buildings, but rather he's destroyed this fractured view of the world where he can't express himself, he can't be genuine. And he's finally taking charge, he's taking control, he's not afraid of death, he's not afraid of confrontation. That is the whole point of the movie, I think. It's coming to balance in yourself and just destroying this grim look at the world and finally seeing its beauty.
via
Right.
Operation Mayhem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Project Mayhem.
Well, like-
must
Project
destroy.
Mayhem.
First rule of Project Mayhem is you do not ask questions.
Like one of the lines that resonates so much, it's just so simple. But when he finally realizes that, he has his epiphany. I'm Tyler Durden. We're one and the
That
same.
was hilarious.
But when
Yeah.
he says, when Tyler Durden says to him, and at this point it's really Brad Pitt saying to him, he's like, I look like you want to look, I fuck like you want to look, like all that. It's like, that's believable. It's like, yeah, he wants to be that guy. And I do think, the other things are not necessarily believable, but I do think it's believable that a lot of people go through their lives like, I want to see myself as this. That's who I want to be, and people delude themselves, So this movie is a lot also about just delusion, and it's not far-fetched to say that a lot of people live delusionally.
Sure.
Not me.
What do
not
you
me.
guys What do you guys think of the twist? Did you when you first saw it? I saw it as a kid, so I didn't know what the hell's going on. But I'm saying, I don't know. When you guys saw it, did you know early on in the movie?
I feel like I knew about it before I saw the movie, but I
Oh.
don't remember.
I didn't see it coming at all.
Having
Yeah,
reaction.
I didn't see it coming. It's probably my
Okay.
favorite twist and all.
It's a
Oh,
good
yeah.
It's so
twist.
good.
Yeah. M. Night Shyamalan's pissed that he didn't come up with it.
Yeah. I thought it was funny when he's like, when he figures it out, he's like, and then he's like,
We
he's
had
trying
to
to
take
figure
it
out
off
like the
or something.
plans,
Yeah.
and then there's like a paper that says like plans to blow up. It's like, what the?
Yeah. But it is fun watching the movie knowing
It
that.
is fun.
I'm saying knowing that he's Tyler Durden and then seeing like the ways
Oh, yeah,
that like,
totally.
people react.
Yeah.
Like every time that he's interacting with Marla, when he's interacting with her and she's so weirded out by him. And I remember the first time watching the movie being like,
You're confused.
yeah, and being like, he has every reason to be upset with her.
Right.
She's having sex with his buddy, and she
Very
just doesn't-
loudly.
very loud. But then it's like, oh my gosh, like this guy's such a psycho. He's like acting like
Yeah.
he doesn't know why she's
Yeah.
there.
But she keeps coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another. Yeah, maybe she's
Yeah.
not real again.
Yeah.
I have a question, or
Well,
not really a
toxic
question, but
relationships. Yeah.
something toxic relationship with yourself.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Whoa.
At the end, this isn't really a question, but something that always bothered me, and I wonder if any of you guys have a counterpoint, but I think it's kind of dumb that the way he defeats Tyler is just by shooting himself
Yeah.
in, like,
The throat.
back of the neck.
Well, I think it's implied he's accepting death finally,
Okay.
and that's how he's taking control. Every time in the movie, when it comes to taking control and making like a decision, like or like confronting his own death, he goes, wait, like
Yeah.
basically.
Question then. So
Which
pouring
is
the
okay as a
pouring the lie on his
Yeah.
hand, pouring the lie in his okay, so pouring the lie in his hand, like burning his hand open,
Yeah.
and then intentionally getting himself into that car accident. That wasn't enough to shake him to
That was Tyler, his psyche
Yeah,
basically
that-
going, stop being a chicken shit.
So that was foreplay to shooting himself.
But
in
so
the
you're
neck.
saying, because
Yeah.
I always thought they were trying to say that he, like, damaged his brain enough to get rid of Tyler,
Oh.
and I thought that was stupid.
He didn't hit his brain.
Yeah, but like,
It was a-
spinal cord or whatever.
It was symbolic.
Yeah.
But you're saying basically just him making the decision,
By
taking his
himself.
life into his
Yeah.
own hands is what got rid of Tyler.
Exactly.
I
That's
accept
cool.
that.
Yeah,
I
like
accept that. It is. I mean, I had the same thought, but
We-
you know,
we all
poetic
accept.
license.
Yeah, I
The council agrees.
Yeah, poetic license. Yeah, I'll take
Do you
it.
guys think Osama bin Laden was inspired by this film?
What?
Oh my
Yeah,
God, you kidding
but
me?
he just wanted to get ripped when he saw
Imagine
that
Osama
movie.
bin Laden seeing the twist.
Yeah.
Oh, what did you guys think of? I mean, it's very '90s of the CGI close-ups.
I love that. It's very
Oh,
like I'm sure
it
it
was
was
pretty
very
good.
slick at the time, but it's like charming now. I'm like, oh, nice.
It wasn't bad.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Remind me of Fast and Furious when like they go
The
through
nitrous,
the NOS.
yeah, the NOS.
It's the NOS, and you go through the engine.
CGI close-ups. Wait,
I wish
Like
that-
of like the inner workings of like the bombs and the oven.
It was like
and
a couple
stuff.
times, like the oven.
Oh,
and then
yeah,
it's like-
yeah. Okay.
I love those shows. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, those are
I
fun.
wish that there was more scenes of like him as a soap salesman. You know, I would have loved to have just seen like that side of it. I would watch a whole movie about Tyler Durden as a soap guy.
That's how you
Going
know
to
it's
different-
pre-9/11 because
yeah.
they never let you on a
Like
plane
him
with a
just going
briefcase
to
full of
like
soap now.
all the fancy boutiques selling the soap, you know. Those were nice looking soap bars, by the way.
They were. He
Yeah.
learned how to make them look nice.
Yeah, he
had
did.
like nice labels and stuff. What do you guys
Yeah.
think the soap was symbolizing?
Selling their fat asses back to
Yeah, I mean,
that
it
was
is kind of
great.
explains
Yeah.
correctly.
Clean.
Yeah.
So I-
That's
I
such a
think
funny scene.
the soap is actually a brilliant metaphor too. Now that I think about it, so the soap is made from people's lard, and why it's so important to civilization is it helps create lye, which is a destructive substance.
And
It's what you
society's a
burn.
lie.
And destroying
down.
helps in the cleaning process. Destruction, you have to clean the particles off of you, have to scrape the dead cells off. Soap, lye, that sort of thing is part of a cleaning process. And I think this movie is about cleaning. It's about maintenance, your psychological health, and finding that balance is, I think. So the soap is actually, I think, brilliant.
I feel dumb. Lye is a chemical.
Yeah,
It's,
but I don't think they use it in soap anymore, right? Because it's super dangerous.
Some people do.
I mean, it's still a
Some
byproduct.
people
I think it's still used in some of the processes.
And lye is made from lard.
Yeah.
Got it.
But yeah.
So I wanted to talk about why Fight Club was so infectious, and B, like how was Tyler able to like create this cult?
I think here's something.
In the
we
movie.
see it a lot nowadays too, where a lot of directionless men
Yes.
craving direction, basically, and purpose, and someone comes along.
Andrew Tate.
Comes along and offers you purpose.
This is the way.
And I mean, it's pretty common. You know, that's how all cults are formed. Really, people are just craving purpose, and it's like, I don't know. You know, my life is nothing. My life's meaningless, and then
And
this
there's
guy
someone
comes
there to
along
tell
and
you
says,
it is meaningless.
Yeah.
And I'm here to fix it.
But I can bring you meaning. I'm doing this. You know, I'm doing this thing that's really important. And
30
you can be
day
a part of
cleanse.
it. There you go. 30-day cleanse. It reminded me a lot because you see those alpha male boot camps now, where it's like you pay $2,500 for a guy to call you a pussy and throw water on you for a week or something.
Slap you.
Yeah, they slap you around.
Really?
And then you become a man at the end. It reminded me a lot of those when they're
You
like,
get a certificate too.
Yeah.
Look, on.
No, they're
reminds me
like
a lot of that.
real things.
They give you
Yeah.
a certificate,
Wow.
like you're a man now.
I don't know if they give you a certificate.
I don't know. I'm sure
Oh,
you get a
okay.
certificate for it.
Fuck off of me! I'm not touching you, bitch! I'm not touching you! Fucking bitch! All of you get in the fucking tubs! Get in the tubs, every one of you! So hey, what are you gonna do now? What are you gonna do now? Sir, every one of you get in the tubs! Get in the tubs! Get in the tubs! Shut up with all, there is no respect! Get!
But those like have no purpose. They're just there. Basically, they're scams for those people to make money. But these guys were actually doing some kind of, they were trying to affect a major change. And I also thought they made some interesting points about, like, they never kill anyone. They never hurt anyone in the movie. Like, all the buildings they blow up are empty. At least that's what Tyler says. I believe him. I don't know.
Yeah, well, Robert Paulson.
But he's not. But that was, like, they didn't directly kill him. You could say that it was their fault, but it was the cop that shot him. It was society that shot him. And the company that Ed Norton was working for at the beginning, through the movie, they're killing people. They're doing all kinds of evil. And
I really liked his response to his friend dying. Like that was. I feel like that helped him like snap out of it a little bit. And he's like, "What do you think was gonna happen, man? You guys are all wearing ski masks, fucking blowing shit up."
Well, once he realizes he's complicit in someone's actual death, something he clearly values is someone's life. I think that's when there's a major turning point in the movie, and he tries to actually stop the destruction of society. And I think that's very important because one of the big messages of this movie is that you're not supposed to entirely idealize Tyler Durden's character because he wants to destroy society. He's a force of destruction. And while destruction is necessary to some degree, it has consequences. And Ah, fuck.
It's like you're talking about with the soap, you know, little you gotta decay, you gotta degrade a little bit. You know,
yeah, he didn't want to completely destroy everything.
Yeah,
he just wanted to bring everyone to ground zero.
You were bringing up about Colts, right, or sort of indirectly.
Mm-hmm.
That I never really gave much thought to it, but man, you were so accurate about that. Like this movie also like really touches on cults, the power of cults, cultists. The question that I've asked myself so many times is why do people join cults? Like, what is it about? And there's a line in the movie where Ed Norton's character is talking to Marlon. He's like, what is it about weaker people attaching themselves to a stronger person? Like, what is that about? And that's so much what a cult is about. Like, why do people? Because it's like people are naturally drawn to strong people, charismatic people. So it's like, how could these Fight Club then form into this, nationwide movement? Why would all these people, seemingly not just blue collar workers, at a certain point, seemingly every single
detectives,
guy in
like
every
LAPD
single
detectives,
like why would? And I do think that is. I never really thought much about it, like in that movie, but this movie does make a commentary on cultism and so like Tyler Durden representing, or at least that energy. It makes me sad that that's what we humans do, but it is a universal human thing that's been going on, as I'm sure, as long as there's been civilization. People are drawn to people that tell them, I have the answers.
Yeah, that has definitely always been
so
a thing.
As silly as like a lot of this movie is on the surface, the point of it is accurate. It's also like, why would Marla put up with all the abuse? Like, she puts up with so much verbal abuse, psychological abuse.
I mean, the same reason all people put up with all kinds of abuse in their lives.
Yeah.
Also,
it
maybe
spices up the relationship.
Yeah, that's true.
I would say it's a deep-rooted human fear because, again, taking control is a huge part of this movie. And so I think it's the fear of destroying things, of hurting people, of losing things, loss itself, and that's reiterated throughout the movie. Start a fight and lose it. I mean, it's about trying to get people to accept that. And I think that's kind of a brilliant point in that Tyler is the ultimate person to hang on to if you can't. And he wants to, the end result of his thoughts is, I'm going to destroy everything unless you do. And I think it's great that it's paradoxical. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. I always thought it was funny though how after like he gets the shit beaten out of him by Lou, the tavern owner, and then that's the homework assignment he gives, like, you guys are gonna start a fight and lose, and it's funny to me because it's like yeah, I know there could be a lose.
Whoa.
I mean, yeah, there's probably like a deeper message, but it's just like, I just got the shit beaten out of myself. So I'm gonna, instead of it me being, I got the shit beat, I'm just gonna make it cool and be like, now you guys gotta do it.
That's how cult leaders are. Yeah, anytime a cult leader's knocked down a peg, they're like, actually, that's actually cool.
Yeah, that's actually.
Right, yeah, I actually shit my pants.
Yeah,
and you all need to start shitting
actually,
your pants.
The manliest thing you can do is what just happened to me.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say, I think that part of the reason that he was so successful is because he tapped into something real, and this kind of comes back to the social commentary. He gave these men a place to just be men. He's consistently saying, I'm not what's in my wallet, I'm not what's in my bank account, I'm not my job, I'm not my clothes, I'm not my furniture. These men go down into that basement where society isn't aware, like has no idea what the fuck's going on. They take off their shirts and they just brawl. And
good old-fashioned brawling.
I definitely, I mean, I think that there's definitely something to be said for as far as like the cult is concerned, obviously. The charisma.
But is it a good thing? Because like I think they're just men, like they're nothing else. Like they're not individuals anymore, which is kind of the same problem that Edward Norton had at the beginning.
Oh
and
yeah,
he was
like
just a drone. He was just a slave of society, and then they come to Tyler and they have their identity stripped from them again. You know, they all get buzz cuts. They all have to wear black and you know, they don't even have names anymore.
I mean, I'm not trying to shill cultism over
Yeah.
here.
No.
But I am saying that, I mean, you know, these guys, like, not everyone, like, Lou didn't come back.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
Lou is, like, a well-to-do guy in society, right?
I thought he was a mob boss.
Well, he's, like, wearing
Allegedly.
suits and stuff. Point is, he's successful. And whatever he's doing, he's successful, right? But these men, like, they're getting something out of this, and I mean, it seems to me like they feel like they're a real person. And I mean, yeah, like, you know, again, not shilling cultism, but
if we were,
it's going like he's making it viral because like it's easy.
Yeah. Well, I think
Like
that's the
if
thing.
you're able to like tap into something like that. Giving these men a place to express their masculinity.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, Crucible.
That's more valuable. Crucible, the alchemy thing. That's more valuable to them than their crappy jobs that they have. you
Yeah,
know?
and it's also more-
that's just the point that I'm making.
It's tangible and it's also more attainable because it's like this in any type of economic, you know, structure, right? If it's like this idea that like I'll be complete if I get this job, if I get this title, this status, this much money,
He says that
this much
early
acclaim.
on.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying
Yeah.
all this carrot that you keep reaching for, and even if you get it, then it's like hooray. But there's all these other people that have more than I have that are more powerful.
Right.
But in that basement or in a fight club, all that goes away, and it's like, yeah, you may not get like any great answers, but if you win the fight, like that's tangible. Like I've accomplished something, and even if you lose, and even if you lose the fight, you were still part of something tangible, like something real.
And
You're
all
not
those
reaching-
men respect you. All of those men in the
Yeah,
circle, like
yeah.
they see that and they respect that
Manly
you just got the
respect.
shit.
Well,
I mean,
it's
for real, like they
yeah.
respect that you just got the shit
here's the
beaten
thing,
out of you, and
it's-
that you get
it's
back up and do it
also-
again.
It's also a much more satisfying competition. If you're looking at humans as competitive creatures, which we are, then what's a more satisfying competition? Like you're competing with like this in the abstract of like capitalism, you know, where it's like so and so has, you know, this. I'm gonna have this, and like you're in this vague competition. Whereas actual competition, like just two guys fighting each other, like that's a more satisfying competition.
See, I always find like a competition of the mind to be more satisfying. Game of chess or something, you know. Debate.
I'm not one of those elites like you are. I'm a man of the people.
So, would you guys agree that Tyler Durden becomes more unhinged, or was he always kind of like that, like through the beginning of the movie? Do you think that because maybe he's controlling Edward Norton a little bit more, like he starts to become a little crazier, or do you think it was always Tyler Durden was like?
I think he was always
like his
that
game
way.
plan was Project Mayhem from the beginning.
He's always the same person. He didn't
That's an
change.
He's just I think he's just has more opportunity to express himself.
Yeah, but I think he was always that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Because he seemed
got
cool at
better
the beginning.
I know.
Well, I don't think he's supposed to be entirely like an evil villain character.
Right.
I would put
but
him.
he becomes an asshole for sure.
Yeah, but I think he deliberately puts
Yeah.
himself as an
Like, tell me the
antagonistic
plans,
force.
man. Come
Yeah.
on.
He's trying to speak to these people, but they don't hear him, I think, is what's really happening throughout the movie. And so he's just destroying everything to try and get people to respond the way that I think he really wanted them to respond. Especially Edward Norton's character, with force, with control, you know.
And then he's like, fine, I don't want to know the
Wait,
plans
so
anyway.
his character, because he says in the movie he's 30 years old. He calls himself a 30-year-old boy.
He says 25.
Well, no,
I think
when
he
he's
says
talking,
30.
no, when
He
they're
says 30?
talking about,
30-year-old boy.
yeah, when he's,
We can all relate
You're
to
just
that.
thinking this-
yeah, but I'm saying so like basically until he's 30 years old, he's more or less living a responsible life.
Mm-hmm.
He's more or less a successful young adult or just adult.
He
Yeah.
completed his IKEA set.
Yeah.
Yes, he did that, and then
The yin-yang
he
table.
reached his breaking point, at least psychologically, and then it became in actuality. But I don't know. That seems like a big delay to then all that's festering. He keeps it inside, and then there's just this explosion of insanity. Now,
Yeah.
if he is schizophrenic, not to get too technical here, but schizophrenia usually manifests much, much earlier in life.
Well,
So-
right to David
No,
Fincher.
he's not
Yeah.
schizophrenic.
No,
But clinically,
Not clinically, yeah.
he created
Yeah.
this. I mean, I don't think there's a diagnosis.
But when
for
you
this.
have when you have multiple
diagnosis.
personality disorder, you don't
Yeah.
talk, you don't have conversations between those personalities, right?
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is I guess what I'm getting
no,
at is
they don't.
at what point
it's
did
debatable.
he go?
It's debatable.
At what point did he go from being
I'm gonna
a
go foul.
more or less regular functional person to being, I guess you could say, an irregular,
Studied
highly
psychology.
functional
When
person?
he
I've
finished
studied
his
multiple
IKEA
personalities.
set, as soon as he
just like
finished
that
his
answer better.
apartment
Yeah.
and he's completed,
Yeah.
he's like, well,
Yeah.
Well,
what
the
is the
turning
meaning of
point
my life now?
is when he can't go to when the support groups aren't
Yeah.
working anymore. That's
Yeah.
his turning point,
Mm.
right?
Or maybe is it like the point is that once he realizes, like saying, like finishing the IKEA set, consumerism gives me nothing.
I should
This-
be feeling something.
I'm not getting anything out. I thought I would get something out of this.
I don't think
I'm
he
getting
thought he was
nothing.
done. It's like a lot of the
Yeah.
problems in society with capitalism and consumerism is basically like you don't think you're never whole. It's like, all right, I got the
So is
IKEA shit that I
consumerism
need.
good or bad?
But now, I mean, consumerism generally is bad. Buying things isn't always bad, but
No.
the thirst for thinking that getting that next toy is gonna make you feel better, make you feel whole, is the trap that so many of us fall into.
Yeah.
And he's talking about how he's almost complete. He was like, I was almost full. I was almost like, and it's like, what do you mean? Like, even if that was possible,
His,
So maybe-
his plates.
So
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah.
so maybe the answer is Fight Club, but like capitalism Fight Club, like monetized Fight Club. Then you have everything,
What?
right? Right?
You're forgetting about
Anyway.
the
You're talking about the stock
They've
market.
forgotten it's supposed to be about the fighting.
I mean, so the idea of giving up your earthly possessions has a
Yeah.
lot of merit, but
Yeah.
obviously living in a condemned, dilapidated petri dish of a house is probably
That house is so cool.
Nah.
Can we just talk about how cool that house
Pretty
is?
awesome.
That is
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that house is a masterclass of set design, production
Sure.
design.
Oh yeah, they
it's
did
so
a really
cool.
good job making it look
I
gross.
love that house. Yeah.
And the way he describes it is really well too, like his narration throughout the whole
Mhm.
movie.
They
I
don't
liked
care.
when Tyler made that convenience store owner become a veterinarian. Forced him to follow his dreams at gunpoint.
He's
Yeah.
like looking off screen wistfully, saying,
Yeah.
"That man's breakfast tomorrow morning will taste better than any meal we've ever."
He's
had
like
in our life."
Jigsaw,
Yeah.
He threatens people's lives and makes them
Yeah.
follow their dreams.
Appreciate
life, yeah.
You got to pursue what you want. Otherwise, life is this droll, meaningless menagerie of things, and you start vilifying the environment you're in, the society, the structures, the people. You start looking at them analytically like they're pieces of equipment or tools, and it's like, oh, that one's kind of pathetic. Like Edward Norton throughout the whole movie. The movie is
Totally
like telling you, get out of that mindset. Just go for what you want.
You're good. You're good.
Live your life.
But yeah, I mean, yeah.
Fight Club, live your life.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, the viscerality of having a fight is much more gratifying than like making $100. You know?
Right.
Hmm.
I don't know.
A lot of stuff I can buy.
I
I can buy like
you.
8 copies of Fight Club for
But what do you do?
$100.
I
but
guarantee
what
you're gonna feel much more
But what if you? What do
after
you?
having a fight than
Yeah.
like
What
getting
do you do if
$100.
you're a puss like me and you don't want to fight and you're like, but my life doesn't have any
You
meaning?
need a Tyler
You need to
Durden
talk
in
to
your
Tyler.
life.
We gotta cut off your
I need
balls
a
and send you
Tyler,
to
yeah,
what's
yeah.
it called? The
Maybe
testicular
that.
cancer group.
Well, think about that actually. But think about that actually is true though. Like he did need a Tyler Durden in his life, and there probably are a lot of men who need a Tyler Durden in their life. Like what that represents, because I'm sure that there are individuals, or we'll say men, who they feel like, no, I'm good. Like I'm secure in myself. I don't need to prove myself to anybody.
That's how I feel.
I'm fine as I am.
Mhm.
But
You're not fine as you
there
are.
are legions of men who do not feel that way, and ostensibly you might look at that guy and think, oh, you're fine, you're good, you got what you need, and he does not feel the way. And so in his own way, like he's got a Tyler Durden alongside him, like maybe not gonna turn into a Project Mayhem, but I don't know. It's
Shooters.
This, I mean, I'm just saying this movie. Yeah, shooters. No, this movie though really does make a I know it was based on a book. So
I mean,
the
I
book
think
probably goes.
really the central theme to me is
Yeah.
about embracing your masculinity and compartmentalizing it in a way where you can express it in a healthy way, but not taking it so far to where you're
where you have to shoot
blowing
yourself
up
in the
buildings.
neck.
Yeah.
And blow up buildings.
That's the takeaway.
Stop around like the 50-minute mark.
Yeah.
But think about like how
you need a little Tyler Durden in your life,
I
but you
mean,
don't need all Tyler
like
Durden.
this is
'cause then you're gonna
pretty. This is
become a
pretty.
terrorist.
This is pretty simplistic psychoanalysis, but I do think that for so many destructive men, like how much of it can be like surmised as, you know, like that was a Tyler Durden, you know, phenomenon where it was like, no, you didn't feel good about yourself, you didn't
Right.
feel enough, and you had to be destructive to feel
Yeah.
enough.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you felt like, okay, like now I'm a worthy person. I express it through violence. And, you know, for I think a lot of men, violence is the ultimate expression. It's like I've now made my mark.
Made my point.
I made my point. Yeah. No, it's really, really sad, but I do think it's true, and I do think that that's something that you can find a fundamental divide between men and women, if such a thing exists, because women can be equally destructive, but that destructiveness is not as physical typically as it is for men. Men are drawn to physical destruction.
Yeah.
Well,
Like-
let's mention the feminine aspect since we've been talking about the masculine aspect so much.
Ladies, listen up.
The main part I want to talk about.
Yeah.
The main part I want to talk about is when our protagonist beats the crap out of Jared Leto's character. So what triggers this is after they threaten the mayor, he and Tyler have this moment of like genuine like camaraderie or togetherness. They're on each other's shoulder. They share this really beautiful, genuine moment, and it makes Edward Norton's character appearingly jealous. But I think it's a little bit deeper than that. He craves companionship, but he's afraid to openly express that. Earlier in the movie, I was telling you about Martha.
Why did you say that name?
Sorry, Marla being a reflection of his shame on himself for being able to embrace people and be actually open with them. So Tyler is doing this, and it's kind of like the thing that he wants to do, but he wants to also, you know, destroy it because he's ashamed of it. But also it kind of reflects back on him the relationship he never had with his father. You know, Tyler is this like leader character guiding them, and Jared Leto is kind of a representation of this like pure innocent child. He's got this bright hair, you know, he's kind of innocent looking, and he has to destroy that because he doesn't know how to embrace that feminine aspect of himself, of love and appreciation and togetherness. So don't run away to just destruction. It is necessary, but you need some creation, you need some love too.
A little bit more destruction.
Or maybe
but a
Jared
little
Leto
bit of love.
just has a punchable
I mean, we
face.
all want to beat the shit out of
Yeah.
Well, guys, what do you think?
Good times.
Yeah.
Do we want to do reviews or what?
Oh man.
I'd love to do reviews.
I'm set.
Gosh.
I mean, we can start with me for once.
All right, let's
You
do it.
already know what I think about this movie.
Well, quick question. Okay, between Brad Pitt and Ed Norton, like, who do you think has the better performance or the more important performance?
I
Because
always
they're both so
enjoy
good
Brad Pitt
and
in
iconic.
movies. I like him quite a bit,
Yeah.
but and I think Edward Norton always seems like a bit of an asshole to me.
Mhm.
But I think his acting was a bit stronger in this film. I
Okay.
mean, Brad
Yeah,
Pitt's
they both
kinda just
played
doing
their
Brad
roles
Pitt,
really
but-
well.
They're both
that
so good in the
wiener
movie. I think it's like a
kind
coin
of guy
toss.
that changes a little bit.
They were phenomenal. Ed Norton had the bigger
He had the bigger
bill,
part,
but more complexity.
Yeah,
He had a
yeah.
lot of complexity to do.
I guess maybe my question would be like, can you imagine this movie without Brad Pitt? Like, I can't. I love Ed Norton. He's one of my
Yeah.
all-time favorite actors. I could imagine the movie without him. I feel like Brad Pitt is
David
more
Duchovny
important to
or
this
something.
movie.
Oh, that's fair.
I guess that's what I meant. Like, I think he's more important to the. But Ed
I
Norton
can
is
see
the
that.
man.
Right.
Like, I think he's a great actor.
In a Hollywood sense.
Yeah, because that's Brad
Yeah.
Pitt. He is a personality. He's like a force
I think
of nature.
this movie in so many ways is to me like the ultimate proof that Brad Pitt, at least at that time, was the most the coolest dude, like the guy that everybody wanted to be. Because what is Tyler Durden? Tyler Durden is like the guy that everybody wants to be,
Well,
and the
they
woman.
make a point of that.
Yes,
like,
Girls
exactly.
want to fuck him.
girls-
Guys want to be him.
Yes, but like and the ultimate expression. That's how cool Brad Pitt was at that time. Think about like what a crazy character Tyler Durden is to play. You have to be like that level of coolness and hotness
Right.
and like that's insane.
That's the
And
other
it's
thing about why
believable.
he makes so many good points.
Yeah.
How charismatic and
It
good
is.
looking he is.
But that's like when he says the line like I look how you want to look, I fuck like you want to look, like you want to fuck, like all that. And if someone less cool than I'm saying, if someone less cool than Brad Pitt was saying it, that line would be stupid. It would be like, what are you talking about? Nobody wants to be like you, but we do all want to be like him. So.
Michael has all these posters. Of
Yeah, I
Tyler
do.
Durden.
Well,
He's got a shine.
I'm just saying though, like that's like kind of an incredible feat. Like
Nobody
Brad
wants
Pitt
to look like Jack
pulls
Nicholson.
off Tyler Durden. That's pretty crazy.
I've had a scene in my head
Yeah.
this whole time that I actually wanted to talk about, and I'm gonna preamble it with the observation that I don't think Ed Norton eats anything for the whole film.
Ooh, interesting. Well, the condiment. He's like was it peanut
Aside
butter?
from the condiments, yes.
Yeah.
And that to me, I mean, he's in this dream state. He's hardly real. He's like not even material almost, you know?
Yeah, Tyler's more real than he is.
Well, and that's where I was going to go with this, because the scene where Ed Norton is frantically in the back of the van, he's looking at the timer, and you know, for the bombs, it's full of soap bombs, nitroglycerin bombs. Tyler confronts him and like punches him in the face and like knocks him out the back of the van. And when Tyler comes through the van and he jumps out the back, and you have that scene from the ground, and his like really expensive brown loafers with gold trim hit the ground, it's this like really dramatic moment. And I think, I mean, for one thing, it's the pinnacle of Tyler Durden. Like that moment, he's just like in his full regalia, and you know, it's the scene where he takes off the vest and he's like flexing all of his muscles and everything. But it also, I think symbolically, I'm sure you'll appreciate this, he has shoes on, which in art and you know, just people think of shoe like when you're barefoot, that it represents death, or that you're not real, or that you're in heaven or whatever. He's got shoes on, and he's like landing on the earth, and it's like that is as real as he has ever been up to that point.
That's
in the
pretty
film.
cool. I never never looked at it.
I thought it's a really, really impactful scene. I mean, like you all know exactly that scene. I'm sure you can see it play by play in your head. You know,
His head's shaved too. He's like,
Right.
totally like owning himself. You know?
Well, and sometimes what like story and fiction can be more real than the physical, in the sense of like what ends up enduring, what ends up lasting,
What's influential.
through the ages. The body dies, but ideas don't.
There you go.
And so I'm just saying, like Tyler Durden in so many ways is more real than the narrator. Is more influential, is more powerful.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, but
And that's why we're leaving our legacy in the form of this podcast.
hell yeah.
All right, getting started with the little review process. I think you've heard enough of my thoughts. I give this both 5 film reels and 5 VHS tapes out of 5.
Ooh.
One of my favorites.
Right.
All right, a rare thing for Val.
Yeah.
All good.
Yeah.
Very rare.
Cool.
I didn't have anything else to say.
Yeah. I'm with Val. Indeed, probably already put it on the screen. You're 5 and 5. Yeah, nothing additional. I'm really glad that we watched it together. Some of the boys have been talking about potentially seeing it, and it just felt right. So, yeah. Go on, brother.
I'm not gonna make any waves here. 5 and 5 as well. 5 VH and 5 film reels. Yeah, this movie. I mean, I know we've been talking about. I'm just saying, like, this is a movie. If you haven't seen it, like, I feel like you need to see it. This is like one of those, like, it's on the list of important movies to see. It's a really funny movie. It's a really cool movie to watch. It's an important Fincher movie, even if he disavows it or he's not as into it anymore. It still is an important Fincher movie. It's cool. It's funny. The fashion kicks ass, which you know is important to me. Yeah. It's just a cool cool ass movie. Watch Fight Club if you haven't seen it.
Yeah,
Okay.
you
Yeah.
should watch it before you get to this part.
Yeah.
Exactly this part right now. I am not gonna rate it as high, but I'm not gonna like talk shit about it. I'm gonna give it 4 film reels because I think it is super well made. Actually, no, yeah, 4. I feel good with the 4 film reels. As for VHS tapes, I enjoy this movie a lot. I guess I only saw it when I was a kid, which was a long time ago, and see it again now. Pretty awesome, catching things I didn't like. I think I'm going to go with 3 VHS tapes. And I'm saying 3 because I probably won't watch it again for a very long time.
Shocking
That's
the audience.
Yeah.
This is a shocking revelation.
Wait, little by little, you're just letting yourself become Val.
Yeah. Wow, that was surprising. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give it 5 in both categories. It's just such a well-made movie. It has a lot of interesting themes to discuss, and just entertaining as hell. Super fun to watch. Happy Feet is in it.
Slide.
Yeah.
All right, so
That's 4 out of 5
Alright.
doctors recommend.
Edgar, could you like expand on that a little bit?
Which one, the objective or the subjective?
Subjective.
Subjective.
You didn't dig it that much?
I just don't see myself watching this again anytime soon.
It's not strictly a replayability score though. Like what else
Well,
is going
for,
to that
for
metric?
me, my subjective is
I'm
like
curious.
if I
it's fair.
like if I were to, I don't know if I would like by myself recommend it to someone else as much.
Is it too
That's
violent?
not to take away that I didn't enjoy it.
Is it
I'm
too
not
violent?
saying it's a bad movie.
You're on
I'm
the
just
hot
saying
seat today.
saying
You didn't like the violence?
For me, no, I love the violence. For me, I'm just like I don't know if it's particularly like my kind of movie.
Okay.
Damn.
It's like a taste thing.
Yeah, I think it's
subjective,
totally
yeah.
it's totally me. I'm not taking away from that. It's a super well made movie and very like I really enjoyed watching it right now with you guys.
Regardless.
I just didn't enjoy it like that much.
He's taking the
It was
message
kind
to
of.
heart.
I'll be honest. It was a little silly for me sometimes. That it
You
took
don't
me
like
out of it
silly?
a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Look
it,
at the films we have on the
Wait. See The Room? This guy loves The Room, but Fight Club is too silly for him.
Because it's like super serious sometimes, and then like I get that it's comedic also, but I just find it hard to believe sometimes while I was watching it what was going on.
Damn,
Gotcha,
that's harsh.
Yeah.
I'm glad we had one person.
No, it's
who
We
was
don't
good.
have a dissenting opinion.
It's good. So, like, in the comments, like, a person could be like, you guys...
Please remove.
Not, you guys, no, the person is like, actually, here are the problems with Fight Club, but you just laid
Yeah,
out some,
there you
so...
go.
Yeah, for the one person
I
who
did
wouldn't-
not dislike it at all. I'm saying
The
I
guy who
enjoyed
made
it.
us watch
Yeah.
Ninja in the Claws of the Sea.
But actually, please, like, we so appreciate your comments. Leave all the comments. Scathing comments, it's all welcome.
we prefer
Yeah,
Yeah.
beat the shit out of us.
Yeah.
We like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, give
make
us.
us look like Jared Leto.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you guys need to be nice to me right now.
Thank you guys for watching. We made
Well,
it to 100 subs.
We have another upcoming movie next
Correct.
week. I don't know if Val has picked it yet.
I already have.
Oh,
Alright.
drum roll.
Should I reveal it right now, or do you guys
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to be
go for
surprised?
it.
I don't
Alright.
want to be surprised.
The Banshees of Inisherin.
Oh, hell yeah.
Nice. All right.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
We're eating good to this
season.
This
yes.
season.
Hell yeah.
The only
We will.
dud was Michael Clayton.
I disagree from Casamigos
That's all, folks.
I disagree. Michael Clayton is a great movie, damn it. I stand by
I
it.
loved
I
it.
stand
I
by
loved
it,
it.
too.
I freaking loved it.
Yeah,
It was
but
kind of boring.
yeah.
All right, let's get
You guys ready to fight?